the name Corpse Paint came about.
For me, it's just like an electric jolt.
The real ugly side of humanity, and their music sounds like it.
I always wanted to be a band that was approachable to people, that was just regular ass people. Yo, what's up? So before I start this episode, I want to bring up two really good friends of mine that I've met along the way. They've been the backbone and really the biggest supporters of this podcast since day one. Everything visually you see with this podcast has been done by Wither Designs and Benny Bones Art, and it could be your band next. Check them out on social media, get yourself something unique and original, and yeah, let's do this. So what was your first ever concert that you attended? I'm assuming you didn't jump right into metal, or did you?
I jumped into heavy music when I was fairly young. I mean, but to be honest, my first concert was the New Kids on the Block, and I was really little. So, but I wouldn't really count that. But I've been going to concerts since I was like 13, 14 years old. You know, maybe like one a month since then. But really early on, it was like Silverchair, getting into Korn, the Deftones, and all that kind of stuff.
Korn is one of those bands that, like, I don't know, people underestimate how heavy that band is. Seeing them live is a whole different experience. It's that bass, you know? Like,
yeah,
the tone that comes out of him, man. It's insane.
Yeah, and for me, with them specifically, I think it was so emotional, and it was so vulnerable, and I remember listening to that first Korn record in my room the very first time, and I don't remember hearing anything like it, and even now, there's still very few things like that have that emotional response. And then when I remember hearing the Deftones for the first time, and it was Bored, I was listening to, like, in the hallway of junior high, maybe early junior high, or even grade school, like sixth grade or something. And the only thing I can think of is, like, it sounds like Korn, but it didn't. But that was like the only closest thing at that time that I could connect to it. And but again, it was just like that emotion that was in there, and to me, that really, really connected with me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like Slipknot. I mean, the second
Yeah.
my friend showed me the Heretic Anthem, like watching that music video,
Oh yeah.
just being absolutely stunned by the visuals, and I was immediately hooked. I was like, I need to, learn more about this, like, craziness that's going on.
Yeah, and those early records, one thing about the early Slipknot and Korn records too specifically is them being produced by Ross Robinson, and his producing work connects with me on such a deep level where even now to this day, when I make music videos, to me, my goal is always to make them feel how those Ross Robinson records felt to me, because there's something about them that feels alive within the music. And a goal of mine is just to try to get that across. Like, how do I get the song to a different level and it just connect on like an emotional level? And I definitely see things that way.
Of course. I mean, I remember, like, when I was, like, younger, I watched this video of, like, Lamb of God, and, like, Randy, the producer of the record, was like, Randy, he smokes and stuff. I don't know if he smokes anymore, but, like, back, like, in their heyday, like, they were like, Randy, go run a mile, come back here, and then record the vocals. You remember that?
Yeah. No, I don't. But I'm pretty sure I've heard that before.
Yeah, it was some, like, in the studio video, and I it's like a simple trick, but it, like, totally changed the sound of the record, because, I mean, it's like somebody getting on stage. They're not really ready. They're kind of hoarse. But
yeah, I think it also disconnects you from maybe thinking about things too much, and just the only thing you might be able to rely on is maybe just the emotion of it, and you're not getting too heady with it. You know what I'm saying? At least that's my head up my butt thinking of that anyway.
Well, it's like one of those things that connects to your portfolio. I mean, I'm slowly getting into videography, and I gotta ask. I mean, you've done so many videos. How do you stay in the creative, like, mindset? How do you, like, not trail off and be like, I'm, like, burnout, like, I got nothing left in me?
Oh, dude, I have so much energy. I have too much energy. There's always stuff inside of me, and especially like just meeting bands and finding inspiration. It's just the coolest thing. And the bands that reach out to me, when we talk about videos, it's I can sit at home and come up with ideas all day long by myself. But what I'm interested in is hearing what their ideas on. They know what my work looks like and what it feels like. And I'm interested to hear what their ideas are and how we can make something together that takes takes it to the next level. And that's what interests me. And so I get incredibly inspired by the bands I've worked with, and I've been very lucky to work with the bands that I work with. And in each one of those bands, there's incredibly creative people that have just give me so much inspiration. Where running out of that is not that's never even come across my mind. I mean, I'm just energized every time I get to talk to those people. And even if like I go to a show and the band, I'm hanging out with one of the bands, it's just like the most inspirational thing. And just talking with the guys and just talking about life and music, it's the inspiration is endless.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely like one of those things that, you know, as a musician and an artist of any sort, but making that a career, that's a different thing because I mean, it's dependent. Like your creativity is dependent on making your rent payments. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, yeah,
all of your videos look like original, and they're, you know, each one stands out on their own is what I'm trying to say. And
yeah. That's
that to
awesome.
me
Thanks,
is like
man.
the greatest piece about your portfolio. Um,
Yeah, I appreciate that. One thing that I like, a band will reach out to me, for example, and be like, "Yo, we want a video just like the Vane virus video." And there's nothing more boring to me than having somebody tell me let's do something again. Like, I don't want to do that. That's not gonna be fun for anybody. And maybe that's one reason too, is like I try to stay away from that. And if I'm on set with the band and we're shooting something and all of a sudden it'll look like some other video, like I don't want to do that. We'll switch it up. Like it's so important to me not to do that just because this is boring and I don't want to be bored. And that's the main goal of all this. And I also don't want to get a phone call from one of these bands that I work with telling me that this one video looks like their stuff, and that would be awful. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very hyper self-aware. And when I'm on set with these bands, that I'll bring it up all the time about if I see something that's kind of similar, so we'll just try something different. And, we're able to find really exciting stuff that way.
Totally. I mean, one of the one of the coolest things, I mean, watching Vane like years ago, like, you know, I tell people all the time, like the music videos that Vane comes out with with any director are one of my favorites. And
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I watched a video that you did, and you were on like, I'm not sure the technical term, but you're on like a chair and you go in a circle. It was like a live type music
Oh,
video.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The Hell Night video. That's a great video.
Yeah, no, that's a great video, and I was kind
Yeah.
of curious, like, you know, when it comes down to using that type of equipment, like, what do you got to keep in mind?
Well, nothing. I mean, it's just like one of my favorite things is I see a lot of videos by a lot of directors and they're really awesome. And I try not to do what they do either. And so one thing I don't see a lot of is I'm not too particular with making sure things are nice or perfect or good.
Right.
And so for that video, I was just trying to capture the band, and whatever happened. I'm pretty sure I fell off at one point,
You
and
fell off the chair?
I think so. I think the whole thing came off the tracks, but like it's amazing because then it looks insane and broken, and that to me is the coolest stuff when something is just not pretty and it's not like perfect. The imperfections of it's the coolest things to me, and when learning equipment, I don't care. Like the equipment doesn't matter to me. What matters is that it's captured in such an interesting way that feels similar to the song, and that's
Yeah.
the number one most important thing to me. Obviously, when using gear, you want to try to use it somewhat right. But my favorite stuff that happens when you're using it incorrectly, or something kind of breaks and you keep rolling. And that chaos is my favorite stuff, man.
I love that. No, I
Yeah.
definitely feel that in your work, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but like
No,
I
no, I
like
take it as a compliment. That's all right. I
I
appreciate
like
it.
I like the essence of like um natural beauty. You know what I mean? I feel like nowadays, like you can like make something look uh eh, you know, basically like Photoshop. Think of a picture of a woman, and you're trying to fix their face, and you're fixing their legs, fixing whatever. Like videos are the same way. And but you just do it naturally.
But the songs don't feel that way. The songs don't feel they're beautiful songs that come from a real place, but they're not shiny. And the bands that I'm lucky to work with, their songs don't sound that way. So I don't want to make a video that, unless it's like contrasty for a specific reason, but I don't want to make things that look like, and life's not that way. So I don't want to. I just don't see it that way. And again, the things that are fun to me are on the edges, and then you crack that open and you break it open. It's like, if there's a rock, you lift up the rock and there's a bunch of ants, but I'm still not interested. I want to take my hand and like, let's dig in that dirt and see what's underneath that. And like, oh, it's gross, but it's beautiful too. And that's where I find stuff. And when I'm on set, can I swear or no?
Oh, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, all right. Well, like, one of my favorite things is like, I want to find something that looks fucked. And that's just my favorite. When we reach that, we're like inside the video. But that's what these songs feel like to me when I listen to those Jesus Peace songs, or Vain song, or Spite, or anybody. That's what I feel. Dude, I remember sitting on my bed when I was a kid listening to the first Mudvayne record, and that vocal performance is just so. I remember I was gritting my teeth, and listening to it, and it took me like 3 songs before I realized what I was doing, and again, that's just my favorite stuff.
Yeah, no, totally. I I definitely feel it. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, it's there. Like, whatever you're trying to portray, it's there.
Thanks, man.
So
it.
My question to you is this. Thinking back to everything you've done, what do you think is the most challenging set that you've had to like overcome something and it came out like amazing?
There are a lot. I'm it's by the time I'm done with all the videos, I'm fairly exhausted. There's like one speed that I have, and it's go. And sometimes that's, and I'm very collaborative, and I want to hear the band's ideas, and sometimes that's not the easiest thing to go through, but I guess one specific example I can speak to is that I was doing the Spite offering video, and we were doing like this, like, when you slow it down and then we'll speed it up later. And so we were doing like the songs, like, I think like 4.5 minutes or something. We were doing like these 8-minute takes, and like by the end of the shoot, I was telling my the DP and one of my collaborators, Dustin, I was just like, dude, like, I think we have some really good stuff, and I think some of it's really bad, and because I couldn't understand what we got. And then I watched the footage, and I was just blown away, and it was just some of the coolest stuff, and that happens quite often. Sometimes things take too long to set up, or this or that, but finding the video, sometimes like it may take a few hours that we're shooting, and then all of a sudden, like, it'll just click, like, okay, we're in the music video now, let's keep going that direction. And it's not always the easiest shoots when I make music videos, but there's always something that's really beautiful and fucked that comes out of it,
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, as you're speaking, I'm watching like your portfolio, just getting ideas, and the one thing is just like the essence of just purity. You know what I mean? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about you doing your own thing. So I'm trying to think. So Spite, you've done a lot of their shit.
Yeah.
How would you define, like, their shoots? Are they fun? Their music is heavy as hell. I mean, I've seen them a bunch of times, and oh my god.
Yeah, no, dude, they're amazing. I'm lucky that these crazy people reach out to me, because there's something I think crazy in my work, and they see that, and like all the other bands, I get so like inspired by them, and Darius and all those guys are just such rad dudes, and we've been really lucky to make some really cool work together that I think that we're just really insanely proud of. And but they're great, man. They're awesome, and they're really rad dudes, and but yeah, they're all great guys, man. They're great guys, and I get incredibly inspired by them. Just talking to them, just hanging out with them at a show or something like that, or just being around, seeing them live. You know what I mean? It's all there. They put it all on the stage, and those videos are very difficult to make because they go so hard.
They do.
You
They're
know,
like,
yeah.
it's like every riff is like pummeling. You have to be like full force all the time.
Exactly, dude. And that's so that I hear that and I see that. So why wouldn't I do that? You know, one of the reasons why I go so hard with my videos is that all of these bands that I work with, they give up their lives, man. They give up their families, they give up job opportunities, and they give up every single thing. So at bare minimum, I can give up like 2 weeks of my life to try to make a video for them that or with them that is as meaningful as everything they're giving up. And if I can't do that, it's not worth. I feel like I'm doing them a disservice, and it's not right, you know. And that's my goal every time up the bat is I see it that way, and I want to give 110% of myself for these people who give up absolutely every single thing in their life.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, so is there any bands like that is on like a bucket list for you? Like a band that you hope it's gonna happen, but it's like very very hard to reach.
Uh,
I don't think
it's
any
crazy.
band's hard to reach, but I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't see it that way, but I mean, there's definitely bands that I love that I would love to do videos for. That I see their videos like, oh man, I do a really rad video for them, and you know, there's obviously some bands like that. I off the top of my head, of course I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, I'm just drawing a blank right now, man.
No, it's good. It's good. Now, are you? I mean, I've talked to like a few directors as of recently, and they're getting a little bit older, and they're starting to veer towards like commercial and advertising and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
um, just because like they tell me they're just like, man, these fucking music videos, they're a little bit challenging sometimes. Like, so I saw some like short films on your YouTube channel.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I consider myself this like I'm a filmmaker. It's weird, but I don't even think of myself as a music video director. I just been extremely lucky that I've been able to find work doing that. But you know, I'm a movie guy at heart, and I love doing shorts and features and stuff like that, and I do commercials too, and I'm very lucky to be able to do some of those. On the side. But yeah, I think what you might be referring to is I did this a couple shorts with a comedy group out of Chicago, and we had a couple of like sketch comedy kind of shorts in the
Yeah, no,
New York. Yeah, yeah, they're
it
wild. They're
was
cool.
it was the one of the dude taking a dump and then his wife has to get ready real quick.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That was some friends of mine. That the guy is an actor, and his wife, I believe, she wrote it, and she's like, "Do you want to do this thing?" And I found it funny as hell, and so we
It
made it.
was,
And
I was
yeah,
crying.
yeah. That's a cool one. That was a lot of fun. This I can't not do something, and I've always been that way. And where so if I'm just sitting around, even when I have my full time jobs, I'd have to do something, and I just can't sit still long enough. And I think that's you can see that in my work too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things with all creative people. I mean, at least like I'm not gonna say the hardworking ones, but the ones that like they always got something going on. Like you feel like you're talking to them, but they're also thinking about a billion things they could create at the same time.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah. That's definitely the vibe.
that's you.
Oh yeah, of course, of course, of course, of course. That's why we're here. You know, that's why I give up as much as I give up a lot too to be able to do this, and I'm very fortunate to be in the position I'm in. But those gears they don't stop, and I don't know when they ever do. And talking to some bands and stuff like that, it's just kind of how it works. Unfortunately, you know, for better and or worse.
So, if you were to make a full-fledged film on something, what would it be?
It would. I don't know exactly what it would be, but it would be something where.
Maybe besides
Um,
music.
Yeah. It just depends, man. It just depends what the story is and who the characters are. It's I try to write stuff quite often or whenever I have some time. But what's important to me is that the stories reflect around who the character is. So like for example, like in something like Shaun of the Dead, where you have this guy who's kind of living life as a zombie. He's got to fight the zombies to get over that hump. You know what I mean? So it's like
Right.
who the characters are comes out in the story, and whatever genre. I love movies so much. Like I like Robert Altman movies and Steven Soderbergh. I like Ty West a lot. He's a great director, and so like genre wise, it's all over the board. But what's important to me is just like a character that can connect with, and if I had something to say, I think I would absolutely make a feature.
Now, yeah, tell me about some movies that you watch, man. I mean, I'll tell you some of mine. I like Taken, Liam
Oh
Neeson.
yeah, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that with the. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it.
Liam Neeson. Dude, Happy Gilmore. Come on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well, I think when I was when I was younger, I was a movie snob. I was very very young, and my dad took me to see Pulp Fiction in the theater. I think I saw it like three times,
there you go.
and I was a movie snob from then on. But so I wouldn't even watch like Adam Sandler movies or nothing like that. But
Oh
I,
shoot.
but when I got older, I let go of myself and I realized I was a moron. And The Wedding Singer, I think, is one of the best movies of all time, and I think it's an incredible movie with incredible performances, and it's just incredible.
Now, do you watch horror stuff?
Yeah, I watch all kinds of stuff.
Chucky?
I don't think I've seen that.
The
All right,
little
maybe when I was a
doll that
kid. Maybe yeah,
yeah,
I'm
the guy
familiar,
with
but
the
maybe when I was a kid I
yeah.
had seen it, but I haven't watched it recently at all.
Yeah. Well,
Not that I can think of.
that's like a very interesting match because I mean, I look at your work and the one Vane video, there's definitely some horror elements, you know. It looks like
Oh
there's
yeah,
some sort of like I don't know, like I don't want to call it a robot, but I wouldn't even call it that. It's just some like creepy creature.
yeah. I mean that for Vane specifically, those videos are very much that band and their taste as well, and we'll talk back and forth about ideas and Anthony is incredibly talented and has great taste and knows what he wants and for a lot of that he brings so much to the table for those videos but like I've seen a ton of movies as well and for all those videos regardless of the band we'll go back and forth on different movies or music videos or whatever that we all like and talk about them before we make videos.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where like I don't know, I've kind of learned like some people I mean, I've only talked to a few directors and it sounds like they come up with some sort of like uh huge well there's like a game plan with a bunch of shots. They'll do like draw little pictures of ideas. I don't know. Everybody has a different way of visualizing a music video, you know.
Yeah. A lot of times, at least, what's important is that you're on the same page. And the way that I think of it is that, you can have a treatment with an idea, but if you're in tuned with the band on a deeper level than that, you can show up. Like you can have like this video where this robot comes and takes over the universe and smushes everybody, and that's the video. But when you show up and all you have is a white room and an apple, we could still make the same video because we were in tune like emotionally. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah, no,
doesn't like that
totally.
stuff doesn't matter. And whatever we show up with, we can make work that'll feel similar to what we wanted. And
Now, do
but
you
yeah.
enjoy the run and gun videos, or do you prefer like a treatment idea, like everything's kind of pre-planned out?
I don't think I made a video. I don't. I haven't made a video for a long time where there's like running gun. There's a plan every single time, or else I'm not really too interested. Because
Yeah,
I mean, I think I've kind of done that before in the past, and they've never came out good. And so there should always be a plan, and we should always be in tune with each other on what's going to happen. Because once you're planned for what happened, once you get on set, you can destroy all of it, and oftentimes that happens. But it's important to be on the same page first, so everyone knows what they're getting into and knows what to expect. So it's never as much as it may seem. It's never really run and gun. It's fairly planned out into treatment and stuff like that. But what could happen is we could be shooting over on one side of the room, and somebody, myself or a band member, can look all the way down the hall in the other room and like, yo, what's that? Let's do that. All right, cool. Let's go there. And
Right.
that's something I'm interested in. And but being on the same page first allows you to make wilder and crazier decisions, in my opinion. And sometimes I'll storyboard things out, or the band will have a specific idea for a shot. But again, once you know what that is, you can tear all that down and make anything, and you'll still be connected emotionally to what you're doing.
So if you were to compare one piece of artwork, like a painting or a drawing, to you as a person, who would it be? Well, what would it be?
Oh
Like,
man, I
like
don't
maybe a
know.
piece of artwork. Like, for example, I remember seeing. Have you ever seen The Starry Night?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Oh man, when I was a kid, that freaking painting changed my life, man. I was like, oh my god, what is
Oh,
this?
that's awesome. Why? What about it spoke to you?
I don't know. It was just like the atmosphere. Like it was such a like a mellow painting, man. Like you look at it and you're just like transported into like a separate world.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like I said before, I think for me, and I would say like Ross Robinson's music. That to me, that's I don't know if that's me who I am, but it's definitely what my work, what I like to reflect, and I feel the same way about when I listen to those records.